Sami saves Seth.
Rhea and Nia collide.
And Owens wants to face his old friend at WrestleMania for the title. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
And as we watch some of the superstars make their way to the arena from earlier, we see Nia Jax charge into and attack Rhea Ripley. Eventually, security and backstage officials break it up, leading Jax away. Wade Barrett's on comms tonight with Michael Cole as Pat McAfee is away at the National Championships. And now that that's all been covered, we open with Jey Uso heading through the crowd and making his way into the ring. After about 5 minutes of yeeting, he says he's taking home the big one, but then gets interrupted by Gunther. Gunther calls Jey a funny little man, saying that he's acting like a complete dork. That's an old, know that for a while. Also adding that the crowd are naive enough to follow every word he says. Jey fires back, saying that he's the mascot and that the crowd are his team. Jey then riles Gunther up by saying that he's main evented WrestleMania, with Gunther then attacking Jey. Jey gets the better of Gunther with a super kick, sending him outside the ring. Then goes to the ring general to come back in. Gunther, though, has second thoughts, collects his belt from the ring and then heads back up the rampway. If you like what we do, then please give us a subscribe or even a comment or a like.
Backstage we see New Day bump into JBL. JBL is the special guest commentator for Kofi's match later. Woods says he would love it if JBL said that they were victims of a smear campaign, with Kofi then putting some money in the former APA member's breast pocket, adding that JBL understands the New Day in having to cut dead weight to success. JBL says he's got them. Big E, with all those muscles and all that charisma, everybody loves that guy. Get rid of him and then everybody has to pay attention to you. New Day head off in disgust.
JBL obviously needing that bit of money.
Yes.
We then have a short interview with Bayley, who says she's officially back on Raw, and then declares she's entering the Women's Royal Rumble. Nia Jax then enters the frame, saying that she's going to win the Royal Rumble and that she'll see Bayley later when they face off.
JBL makes his way out to the announcer's desk to join Barrett and Cole as we await our first match of the night, Rey Mysterio versus Kofi Kingston. After Rey heads down, we hear the New Day theme play out, but as Kofi Kingston and Woods head out, Woods asks for their music and entrance video to be cut, with Kofi saying that the crowd are now starting to pee him off. The crowd boo the New Day as Kingston heads over to JBL and takes the $2 back that he gave him earlier. Woods tries to get a New Day Rocks chant going, but the crowd chanting that they suck.
The bell rings and we get underway with JBL calling Rey a deadbeat dad as we see Mysterio miss a 619 and then try to sunset flip Kingston onto the floor from the apron, but he misses, with Kingston then taking control. Kofi goes for what seems a powerbomb, but Rey reverses it, flipping Kofi into the ring steps and then driving his head into the ring steps multiple times. Woods distracts Rey, allowing Kofi to attack him and then launch an attack from the top rope and then cover Mysterio for 2. Rey then lands a seated senton from the top rope, but misses a crossbody from the middle rope, allowing Kofi to sunset flip Mysterio, and Rey answers with a basement drop kick and a cover for 2. Lots of sunset flips tonight.
Yeah.
And last week.
They like them.
Yeah, they are good, but we don't need that many. JBL then wonders if it's still the same Rey Mysterio because of his longevity, saying, well, he does have a mask on, inferring it's someone else, as we see Kofi poke Rey in the eye, launch another attack from the top rope and cover again for 2. Kofi misses Trouble in Paradise, with Rey then sending him to the bottom rope and readying a 619. As Mysterio bounces off the ropes though, Woods trips him, but the ref sees it and makes a change. Woods argues with the ref from the apron, with the referee then sending him to the back. Rey attacks Woods, but then Kofi attacks Rey from behind. Rey again reverses Kofi, sets the 619 up again, and this time lands it. Rey then drops the dime, but Kofi gets his knees up and covers Rey for 2. Kofi then tries the SOS, I think because we nearly miss it as the director feels we need an arena view. Rey reverses it and covers Kofi for the win. Rey leaves the ring, but Woods attacks him, sending him back into the ring where Kofi joins him in the beatdown. As the New Day attack Rey, LWO members head out for the save. Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. Woods and Kofi hightail it out the ring, but as LWO check on Rey, New Day come back, pull Wilde out the ring, push him into the ring post, and then head up the rampway.
Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviews Chad Gable. Gable says he's gone to Dominic Mysterio for help with his luchador problem. Ivy Nile shows some interest in the Women's Intercontinental title, and the Creed brothers stake a claim on the tag titles. Now, I like this. It's good to see a faction wanting to have gold around their waists and not just having an agenda against another faction all the time.
That's what you want to see.
Actually
There's too many people not going for gold and, I've got to beat this guy up. No, just go for the gold. That's what you're there for. Anyway, next we see Jackie Redmond interviewing Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Jackie asks what's next, seeing as the White Six are leaving Raw. Now, I find it funny how she didn't say that they were heading for SmackDown, just that they were leaving Raw. Surely you'd want to push your other show.
Yeah,
so
maybe they're actually on there.
Maybe they're going to NXT, or maybe they're just leaving. Or maybe they're going to TNA now they've got a little deal going. Who knows? Anyway, Kross says he beat Howdy and derailed all their momentum. Jackie then asked about The Miz. Kross said he's on an assignment. So I feel they're probably separating The Miz from Kross and his gang, as to be honest, they don't really need to be together anymore. They were only together because of the Wyatts. The Wyatts are gone, so that little connection can now go by the wayside. And to be honest, I think it will. You don't need to keep them together. No. Redmond then asks where Kross's focus is now. Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Sami Zayn comes the reply. So Kross keeping his options open.
Wide open.
And seeing what they decide to give him.
Sami Zayn heads out to the ring next. Sami says he's in the Royal Rumble, adding that he's up amongst the top guys in the WWE and that he doesn't need the World Championship. He wants it and he's going to take it. The rogue that is known as Kevin Owens then heads out, seemingly wearing a Bret the Hitman Hart jacket, or certainly a jacket paying homage to him. Owens gets in the ring. Sami says he knew he'd come. KO says Sami's a good person and believes he can win the Royal Rumble before going to WrestleMania and winning the championship. Owens says there's one thing that we've never done, and that's main event WrestleMania, one-on-one for the WWE Championship. We can do that as long as I, KO, win at the Royal Rumble. Owens says Sami will win the Royal Rumble because he has his back, and I'm going to walk out of the Royal Rumble as the WWE Champion because you've got my back. And if I need you, I know you'll be there, KO says. KO playing mind games with Sami there, definitely.
Oh yeah, making him think, shall I help him?
Yeah.
But then he might try to help him, but
kick him.
Mess it up and then help Rhodes win inadvertently. Anyway, backstage, Kathy Kelly speaks with Sheamus. She asks him why the Intercontinental title is so important to him. Sheamus says it's what drew him to the WWE as a kid. As Sheamus starts to talk a little smack, Bron Breakker rocks up. He says the IC belt is his, and then tells Sheamus to do himself a favour and retire.
Jackie Redmond asks Ludwig Kaiser how he feels about his match with Sheamus from last week, and that Sheamus is going to face Breakker for the IC title. Kaiser says that he'll get there and become a champion. He's not impressed by anyone, with him being least impressed by Penta, so expect a match between them two very, very soon.
He was the most impressive. Anyways. Next up, Nia Jax versus Bayley. Roxanne Perez at ringside once again. Bayley batters Jax to start with, hitting her with a DDT and covering her for a 2 before Jax pop-up headbutts Bayley, stopping her momentum. A Uranagi buys Jax some time to mount the turnbuckle, but Bayley gets up and pushes Jax to the outside and then follows up with a dive to the outside. After taking out Jax, Bayley decides to have a few words with Perez taking a swing at Bayley. Bayley blocks it, hits Roxanne, and then the NXT superstar tries to get back over the barrier at Bayley. Security, though, bundle Perez away.
We come back from the break to see Bayley on the floor and then thrown back into the ring by Jax, who continues her barrage with a hip attack, power slam and cover for 2. A few more covers get 2 counts for Jax, with Bayley then taking advantage of a missed leg drop by Jax with multiple elbow drops and a cover for 2. Bayley then sunset flips Jax into a ring post from the apron, with Jax only just beating the count out to make it back into the ring. Bayley annihilates Jax, but only for 2, then drops the elbow, but again only for 2. Bayley goes for the rose plant, but Jax manages to hit her with a shoulder breaker and then cover for 2. A running knee nearly wins it for Bayley after she stopped at the Annihilator. Bayley then heads to the top rope for the elbow, but Jax gets up looking for her Samoan drop.
Bayley wiggles free though, powerbombing Jax and getting a 2 count. Bayley eventually hits the elbow drop, but still only gets 2. Pop-up Samoan drop, senton, and then the Annihilator get the job done though for Jax as she covers Bayley for the win. As Jax's music plays out for her victory, it's interrupted by, of course, Rhea Ripley's as she makes her way out, runs into the ring and proceeds to attack Jax. Security try to separate the two, but fail miserably. Rhea ends up cannonballing Jax and the security team from the announcers table before Ripley gets back up on the announcers table saying her and Jax at Saturday night's main event.
Don't mind that. Backstage and in the Judgment Day den, we see Chad Gable asking Dirty Dom for advice on luchadors. Dom says, "I know a guy," before handing Gable a piece of paper. Gable seems happy enough and walks off saying he's off to master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. With Gable gone, we learn that Dom will team up with JD McDonough as Finn Balor is out injured next week in a tag match against the War Raiders, and it'll be for the titles. Dom then says he's going to make it up to Liv, with Liz saying she knows. There's zero tension there at all.
No tension whatsoever. Seth and Sami have a chat backstage. Sami appreciates the chat they had last week and he's got through to him. Seth said he heard Sami out in the ring and said it's about time that Sami showed up and that he's rooting for that Sami Zayn. But when push comes to shove at the Rumble, he will throw him over the top rope. Sami replies by saying, "Not if I throw you out first."
Next up, Pete Dunne versus Penta. Dunne gets in the ring and tells the crowd to shut their mouths before claiming that he's the best pound-for-pound wrestler in the company. Slapping and punching starts us off, with Dunne gaining the upper hand, manipulating Penta's joints. Outside the ring now, and we see Dunne drop Penta on the apron as we head to a break. We come back and we're in the ring and we see more joint work from Dunne, with knees and punches included before we have another advert. Penta fights back, getting a 2 count off a Death Valley driver, with Dunne then going back to kicking. Penta, though, not finished, hits a Mexican/Canadian destroyer. Dunne rolls out the ring. A triangle choke is locked in by Dunne, but Penta breaks it with a backbreaker, who then performs the sacrifice, followed by the Penta driver, all of which secures the victory for Penta, who is now 2 for 2 on Raw.
We get another Logan Paul vignette. He says he's going to eat, sleep and breathe wrestling until he becomes the greatest superstar to ever set foot in the ring. I don't think there's enough time for you ever to do that. We also find out he'll be at Raw next week. Can't wait.
Next up, Jackie Redmond asking CM Punk what makes this Royal Rumble different. History. CM Punk makes history. When the pressure's on, that's when CM Punk comes alive. He can't see Cena throwing him out, nor Reigns, McIntyre, or Zayn. Punk says even Hulk Hogan would get thrown out by him. Hogan declared himself in the Rumble then. Watch out for fake news.
Backstage, Kathy Kelly, they're working hard tonight, aren't they, girls? Has the War Raiders with her. She asks how they plan to prepare. They say they're always prepared and ready to defend the tag titles.
Pure Fusion Collective's Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark take on Io Sky and Dakota Kai of Damage CTRL next. Sonya Deville with PFC, of course. Baszler and Kai start, but Stark quickly blind tags herself in and then downs Kai with a huge missile dropkick off the top rope. It was a thing of beauty, really.
Knocked her
really
teeth down the throat, it was amazing.
Kai is then double teamed before being stretched by the tagged in Baszler. Kai finally breaks free, tagging in Sky, with Baszler making the tag to Stark. Sky dispatches both PFC members before hitting Stark with a missile dropkick from the top turnbuckle, following up with the bullet train and cover for 2. At this point, Deville gets on the apron, but Kai pulls her off, with Dakota then being taken out by Baszler.
With Sky watching on, Stark takes advantage, drops her and covers for 2. Stark then tags in Baszler with a 2 double-teaming Sky, only for Kai to break the follow-up pin attempt. Sky escapes a Kirifuda clutch from Baszler by jumping through the ropes. Nice. and inadvertently dropping Shayna onto the ropes as she does it. This floors Baszler, allowing Sky to hit her with the over-the-moon moonsault and win for Damage CTRL, which makes a change for them to get one up on.
Yeah. Last match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre in what's being billed as a WrestleMania rematch. But 9 months later.
Get going, guys.
Seth must have been walking around in the ring and playing up to the crowd for about 5 minutes. Drew wasn't far off with a 3-minute entrance. Why are they wasting time?
I have no idea. Just get on with it.
Finally, the Scottish Warrior was ready and we get our match underway. After weighing each other up, we get a lock-up, push-in and a bit of chat and then some chopping. Drew took an early advantage, putting Seth down with a shoulder tackle, but Seth fought back with a sling blade and then sent Drew to the outside. Seth followed up with 2 dives out the ring, but Seth went to the well too many times, with Drew catching Rollins on the second dive and throwing him over the announcer's desk.
Back from the break and back in the ring, Seth seems to bite Drew's head before a tilt-the-world backbreaker by Drew on cover for 2 slows Seth down. We have another break just as it seems Drew's going for a cover, but we come back to the two having a slugfest. Rollins rolls through an Alabama slam attempt from Drew and gets a cover for 2, with both men then taking a breather on the mat after Drew ran into Seth's feet. Seth drives McIntyre into the ring posts before dropping in with 2 knees, one from the top rope and covering for 2. A springboard senton getting another 2 straight after. Drew then goes upstairs, but Seth catches up to him and lands a superplex and then looks for the Falcon Arrow. Drew counters into a Michinoku driver and covers for 2.
Drew looks for the Claymore, Rollins ducks, but gets spine busted and jackknife covered, again only for 2. A Future Shock, DDT and Pedigree both get countered. We then see a crossface locked in by Seth. Drew grabs the ropes. Drew then gets a 2 off a Future Shock DDT, keeping Seth down with 2 short arm clotheslines. Drew then takes the moment to talk smack to Seth before going for another clothesline. This time, Seth counters it and manages to get a jackknife cover on Drew, which he's successful with, picking up the win.
After the bell, McIntyre attacks Rollins and downs him with a Claymore. He's a very short Claymore as well, he just stood there and hit it. Drew then sets Seth's head against the ring post, is about to, I think, Claymore his head from outside the ring, when Sami Zayn heads out for the save. Sami gets a Glasgow kiss for his trouble, with Drew going for Seth again, back in the ring. Drew backs Seth up into a corner and is about to attack him when he dodges an incoming haluva kick. With Drew moving, of course, the kick catches Seth, knocking him to the floor. Drew heads up the rampway smiling, and Raw goes off the air with Sami saying to Seth, "I wasn't aiming for you." Seth will forgive him. They'll be alright. I enjoyed the last match and the PFC versus Damage CTRL. I'm not saying Rey was a poor match, but for me, they were the standout 2 matches.
Yeah. JBL is always good on comms. I'm going to hazard a guess that with Miz being involved with carrying Kross is probably done. They don't need to be together anymore anyway, like, why force it?
Yeah,
I think
you
it's
don't
done.
need to keep that.
The Wyatts aren't there, so...
Well, and then we don't know where they're going.
Well, yeah.
Because Jackie Redmond didn't say they're going to SmackDown, just says they've left Raw.
Floating around.
Anyway, if you've got any comments or you want to share anything, then please feel to leave them down below. Thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you Saturday for SmackDown.